The final week started with hot debate about the government's plan to let people use their super to buy a house.
The Super Home Buyers Scheme, it's been well designed.
This policy is not a good idea.
We've thought it through carefully.
This is like throwing kerosene on a bonfire.
It's a well-calibrated scheme.
Just how well calibrated is it, Treasurer?
Have you modelled the housing super scheme effect on housing prices?
Well, we've worked through this.
But have you done the
what
modelling?
We've looked at it.
Have you done the modelling?
Well, we understand the impact it's going to have.
Josh, have you done the modelling?
Well, we've understood the impact on the housing market.
Yeah, they hadn't done the modelling. Meanwhile, Albanese's visit to a daycare centre was cut short when he realised they were way too young to vote.
How old are you?
3. He was out of there, but not before copping a spray from this Barnaby Joyce supporter.
Such amateur out.
Tuesday, and the bulldozer got bulldozed.
Nice to see you, Scott.
Don't you tell me what to do.
As former PM John Howard hit the hustings in Victoria to bolster Liberal chances in hotly contested seats.
Thank you very much. I need all the help I can get. So does he.
He did this by reading the manual, slurping down some morning brown, then pressing the flesh.
Let's go. He's good. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good man.
Yeah, I know. I used to be Labor, but I'm more Liberal now, and I will be till the day I die.
Good on you.
And I follow finances.
Anyway, where was Albanese?
The opposition leader's beginning his day in Perth speaking to a business breakfast, hopeful some of the popularity of the state Labor government rubs off on his federal campaign.
Photo bomb. He gave a wide-ranging speech, but for me, these were his most memorable words.
Hi, thereby, Hatch Crow. Reply, Paraguay. I, medical supply. Cool your knobbing. Hi.
Australians will call their knobs where they want, mate.
It's certainly been a long campaign.
Midweek, Morrison was roasted.
You don't hold a hose, you weren't in your tinny plucking people off rooftops, you weren't doing 16-hour days in PPE on COVID wards, you didn't get enough vaccines soon enough, you didn't get enough rats so that we could finally have a holiday interstate for Christmas, and China is set up base in the Solomons. Do you think maybe you slightly over-egged the part about I saved the country?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
On Wednesday morning, I thought he'd address disappointing wage growth figures, but something else clearly grabbed his attention.
Sarah and I were standing down this way about 3 years ago, and 3 years later, 300,000 more people in their own homes. It really is terrific. Anyway, croissant time.
Croissant time, bitches.
Albanese fronted the National Press Club where he tried to get the room vibing.
Party.
But for me, these were his most memorable words.
Hey, day. Way. Mate. Say. Today. WA.
Also, he was kind of furious they forgot to serve him lunch.
I want some wedges.
Hangry!
They couldn't afford some wedges. That's weak. That's what that is, because you're under pressure.
Oh, and the bulldozer got bulldozed.
I can be a bit of a bit of a bulldozer.
Thursday, and Labor released their policy costing.
Told you.
And the government was frothing about unemployment figures.
3.9%. 3.9%. 3.9%.
But these future voters did not want to listen to Morrison.
You help Mum and Dad with the farm? Yeah, he's gone.
And Albanese didn't want to listen to this one.
What would you like me to draw?
A big bear.
A big man?
Big bear.
A big bear?
Yeah, I want it.
I'm going to draw a bunny rabbit.
In the end, it's just too close to call. Today, the universally respected psychic crocodile Speckles predicted an Albanese victory. While Hugo, the Oracle Galapagos tortoise, foresaw a hung parliament. And Morrison had a daunting realisation.
Not everybody likes me.
So good luck, Australia. We'll see you on the other side.
And I'll miss you dearly when this campaign is over.
We can't risk Labor with higher debt, higher deficits.
This government is out of touch, it's out of ideas and it's out of time.
Vote Liberal and National this weekend.
Labor, give us a crack.
What comes next?
Every night.
What comes next is one more sleep to go. Katy, Bridget.
Thank goodness, only 2 more days to think about the next election. Yes. Oh, thank goodness.
How relieved are you both that we're at the finish line now?
Pretty relieved. Yeah, I'm excited. I love election day when Australians have sort of exercised that birthright. I've been on pre-poll all week. It's great that we live in a country where people get to actually have their say in a really respectful manner, and I hope they exercise their vote judiciously, because this time it really is a choice and the consequences are severe.
But she's also relieved.
Tomorrow night I will be.
No, you are. To get to this point.
Are you prepared for a hung parliament?
We're not campaigning for a hung
We're
parliament.
not campaigning for a hung parliament.
We're majority government.
Campaigns for a hung parliament.
We're going for majority government.
That would be the worst thing for the nation, Kerry. You know that. A hung parliament. The last time we had one under Gillard, rural and regional Australia suffered greatly.
And yet
so
they got
I will not be wanting a hung parliament.
And yet they got over 500 pieces of legislation through, including the NDIS.
From the region's perspective,
including
it
Gonski.
was not a good outcome.
Yeah. Bottom line is, I would suggest that this is the hardest election to pick for a very long time. And when you say election day is special, it's 2 weeks of election day.
Yep.
Now, how hard are you finding it to pick? Come on, give me that honest look as your answer.
I'm too close to it. I'm too close, so it's really hard to judge. I think it is going to be really close. I think it'll come down to a few seats. I don't think any of the polls really know what's going on. They might pick up a national mood and a bit of a sentiment, but I think it's, the ground game, which has been underway for some time. A lot of people voting early, a lot of people on pre-poll turning up absolutely knowing how they want to vote. So people have clearly made up their minds, but we'll know probably this time tomorrow night.
Bridget, does it bother you that at the start of the voting, Labor was clearly ahead? If the polls are accurate, they're suggesting a move back to the government, but there's already 6 or 7 million people who voted.
Yeah, there is over 6.3 postal and pre-polls now. I think, as the Australians have actually had a look at Anthony Albanese under the scrutiny that he probably hasn't been under for 3 years, they've found him wanting, and that is true. So the polls have tightened. They always do, though, in this country, and I think I agree with Katy around the ground game. I go to places like Alice Springs, Gladstone, Shepparton, into the regions, and what they're saying is very different to what other parts of the country. So we've seen quite, I think, a fractured electorate more broadly post-COVID.
Now, you two are a couple of political sills. You get along very well on camera. You're political rivals to an extent, but also off camera you get along pretty well.
It's our secret.
How's it going to be?
Until we came on this.
After tonight, will there be... tomorrow, will you have a couple of Cardinals together, text back and forth, no matter who wins? Will you be gracious?
Well, we're both on rival networks tomorrow night, so we will...
I'm still trying to convince her to vote Labor
No,
tomorrow.
I'm never going to vote Labor.
So I haven't given up.
Well, she's endorsed.
Not till 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
No, but I think there is... We dislike each other's politics immensely, obviously. We chose different parties to be part of and different worldviews. But I think that's the great thing about being able to be respectful in a liberal democracy, that I don't agree with her political views, but I think we have a great friendship, and most of the things that happen in federal parliament are bipartisan. At the end of the day.
I like her too. Yeah, I like her too, but I still think you should vote for Labor tomorrow.
Still a chance.
Why don't you care about the regions, Katy? Why don't you care about the regions?
Katy and Bridget, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Good luck with the campaign. It's never easy, but you both deserve a Cardinet out the back. All the best for tomorrow.
We'll be having one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.